Welcome back to another episode of Channel 8 News. This week we look at the Bearcat Coaches Show, a new European food truck in town, and more. Your Channel 8 News starts right now.
Thanks for tuning in to Channel 8 News, the show where we provide the latest coverage on the Northwest Missouri State University campus and in the Maryville community. I'm Jillian McNamara.
And I'm Tristan Clark. Before we get into this week's episode, be sure to hit that notification bell for the latest news coverage, as well as other KNWT content.
This past Tuesday, Northwest Admissions partnered with TRIO, a program designated to motivate and support students from disadvantaged backgrounds, to help recognize first-generation students attending the college. There, students were able to socialize with other first-gen students as well as enjoy refreshments and interactive activities. Tristan Clark was able to attend and fill us in.
As a part of the National First Generation Student Day, Northwest held its First Generation Student Celebration November 7th. A first-generation student is a student that is the first in their immediate family to attend college. This event was held by TRIO and the Student Support Services Center. The federal TRIO programs are educational opportunity outreach programs designed to motivate and support students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Student Support Services is a federally funded program dedicated to helping student members successfully complete their undergraduate education. At the event, students checked in and were then handed a Finals Week survival kit. There were many photo opportunities and refreshments provided, along with some gift baskets displayed for a drawing later at the event. There was a rock painting and a thank you card station for students to get hands-on. I spoke with sophomore Miley Ishikawa and asked her what it means to her to be a first-generation student, as she came from a family with a long line of addiction.
Being a first-gen student to me means that I'm kind of set apart in a way. I feel as though being a first-gen student, when coming to college, applying for college, and finding the ins and outs of college, it was different for me. So I am also actually from Maryville. And so when leaving high school, all of my friends were leaving, going somewhere else. And so I was like, oh no, like, should I leave? Is it weird if I stay? I'm gonna be a townie, all of these different things, you know. But I think when looking at that and how I decided to stay and the opportunities that I've gained in being here, I don't know, being a first-gen student, it's so awesome in a weird way, because you get to learn different things from a whole different perspective. You get to do it on your own, you know, and I think that that's awesome.
To further understand the importance of the celebration, I spoke with staff member Leslie Quinca to find out why this event is so important in the grand scheme of things.
About 37% of our undergraduate population are first-generation students, so it's not even a small segment on campus. It's actually a pretty large segment on campus. So by having a celebration, we're basically letting our first-generation students know that we support them, we're here with them, they're an important part of the community, and there's a lot of people that support them. So we actually have a lot of staff members and faculty on campus that were also first-generation students, and so that's a really powerful mix when you've got other people that have walked that same path and, you know, really want to show their support. And so it's a good chance for us to come together. And it's also in conjunction with National First Generation Student Day, which is going way back. It's when they passed the legislation to begin the TRIO programs, which you see represented here. So,
with major importance, this event was very successful in celebrating first-generation students and making them feel comfortable and welcome here at Northwest. As everyone always says, once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat. For the stories that matter to you, this has been Tristan Clark with Channel 8 News.
Being a first-generation student is an accomplishment that often gets overlooked, but Northwest, along with TRIO, made sure these students are aware their efforts are recognized as well as rewarded.
In other news, the Student Senate tabled a bylaw amendment proposal for the fourth consecutive meeting dating back to last month on October 10th.
Student Senate has been discussing a newly proposed bylaw change that would allow the Senate to have co-sponsorships with Northwest departments.
Their most recent meeting consisted of Treasurer Abby Linhart breaking down the budget so fellow members could grasp what the change would include. This budget is appropriated into several smaller budgets for each committee. However, the co-sponsorship budget is its own separate budget, meaning that no money and organization requests can come out of a committee's existing budget.
Braden Major, Organizational Finance Co-Chair, expressed concerns at the October 31st meeting that this amendment would take money away from the students. Again, Major said he would not be in favor of moving forward with the proposal.
During the discussion, Organizational Finance Co-Chair Chloe DeVries suggested amending the proposed bylaw change to include a $500 cap on what organizations or departments can ask the Senate for. This ensures money can be distributed fairly and no organization or department can abuse the co-sponsorship policy.
Other senators motioned and seconded this opinion, so the executive Senate members will work on reviewing the bylaw further. It is expected to be voted on at the November 14th meeting.
For more on these stories, check out nwmissourinews.com or pick up a paper out of the boxes on campus.
Northwest Tower Yearbook has dedicated over a century to documenting life on campus and in the Maryville community. The award-winning organization has numerous Pacemaker Awards and a spot in the Associated Collegiate Press Hall of Fame. Learn more about Tower at the handles below.
Hey there, I'm Gabe.
And I'm also Gabe.
That's right, we're both Gabes. Come check out our show, Gen 2. It's your favorite place for all things gaming and rarely tech related.
Make sure to come check out our last episode of the season. And don't forget to catch the highlights next week.
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. Every Tuesday from noon to 1 o'clock, the voices of Bearcat Sports hold a show where they sit down at the Palms in Maryville with Bearcat fans and athletes to talk about all things sports. Jacob Mustard fills us in.
Northwest Missouri State University has a renowned sports program from football to volleyball to soccer and more. This has since sparked a Coaches Show, which is live from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. every Tuesday at the Palms here in town. This Coaches Show helps listeners get an insight to all the personalities and feel more connected to all the sports programs they might view each week.
Coaches Show's been around since way before my time. I think back when John was actually working at 97.1, they used to do these back then, and it's always been one of those things. The flagship station of the Bearcat Radio Network has always carried on a Northwest Missouri State Coaches Show. So it's a good chance to connect with not only football and basketball, but all the sports and kind of let folks know what's going on.
Community has always been a big thing when you talk about Northwest Missouri State University, and this show has become important for the sports program to be able to connect with everyone. Each week, multiple student athletes and coaches from all sports attend this event and answer questions about past or future games.
Well, it's an opportunity to get a chance to hear more about Northwest athletics, and also a chance for the student athletes to be showcased a little bit more, and our listeners have an opportunity to hear about them, hear what they do outside of field of competition and what they do as far as their studies, and just they get a chance to know the athletes a little bit more where they wouldn't in some other type of settings.
It's a great way to connect with those that can't always make it to every game, especially, you think about basketball, that schedule gets pretty busy as you go throughout the winter, and some late nights, some weeknights. You think about there's some crossover there, football and volleyball or soccer or all these different sports. It's hard to be able to hit every single one of them. So the Coaches Show is a chance to kind of go back and say, you know what, maybe I was out of town for a week. I can get up with what Coach Worth in volleyball's been doing, or see how Coach Gordon in soccer's been, or kind of get the latest on football and how things are shaking out there too. So I think it's just important to be able to inform folks on what's happening Northwest Missouri state-wise, but then there's also the human element too, to where you can get some kind of funny stories with coaches and players, or get more of that human side. What are they studying? Where are they from? How'd they end up in Maryville? So we try to hit the sports side especially, but kind of the human element factor as well.
If you've never heard of the Coaches Show or never tuned in, here are some reasons why you should.
I think people should tune in because you're getting stories and background information and just different things about all these coaches and players that you're not going to get anywhere else. And a lot of that's because we've had a chance to, and we're very blessed to build these relationships with coaches and also student athletes, to where there's a comfortability factor after a while that they know where I'm coming from with certain questions, and kind of trying to tap into certain things to where they can feel comfortable and open up a little bit more, and know that it's just kind of a fun conversation with a lot of fans that want to get to know them too.
John Coffey and Matt Tritton are the voices of the Bearcat Radio Network, and you hear them whenever you tune into the games. They both gave some insights on why they enjoy working with Northwest Sports.
I don't know if you can just bring it down to just any one particular thing, but a lot of it's just the relationships with the coaches and players and the people that surround not only Northwest Missouri State Athletics, but around the rest of the MIAA. We have a lot of friends when we go to the different venues for the games, and it's always fun to catch up with them. And it's really the relationships are number one, but also the competition. It's always a lot of fun to watch these teams play. They've had a lot of success through the years, and just to be there and to see the success they have is also a lot of fun.
I think it's really special to be a part of Northwest Missouri State Athletics in any capacity. So the fact that John and I get to go to these games and be a very small portion of the experience for fans, because if you're not at the game, but you're tuning in and this is where you're getting your information from, that's a really cool thing that not many people get the chance to do that for any college or university, but especially one as prestigious as Northwest Missouri State. So we are really blessed to be able to have that opportunity, and that's something that we don't take for granted at all.
For the stories that matter to you, I'm Jacob Mustard with Channel 8 News.
If you're an avid sports fan or just want to hear about college athletes talk about what they do outside of their respective sport, be sure to tune in to Bearcat Coaches Show every Tuesday from noon to 1.
In other news, on October 29th through November 2nd, Northwest Missouri State University attended the Fall National College Media Convention. There, the Northwest student media walked away with numerous awards.
The event, sponsored by Associated Collegiate Press and the College Media Association, saw Northwest programs such as KNWT Channel 8, KZLX Radio, the Northwest Missourian Student Newspaper, and Tower Yearbook walk away with a total of 31 organizational and individual CMA Pinnacle Awards. These awards recognize the best student media work across the country.
Best in Show honor awards were also presented, and Northwest walked away with superb recognitions such as 2nd place for Best Yearbook, 4th place for Best Newspaper, and 5th place for Channel 8 News in the Broadcast News Program category.
Nothing, in my opinion, demonstrates Northwest's commitment to Career Ready Day 1 better than our student media program, Northwest instructor and director of student publications Stephen Chappell said.
When we come back, we'll take a look at a new European food truck in town that is sure to stir up some competition with other local food trucks.
Oh man, I gotta go. Alrighty. Hey, where do you go every Saturday?
Oh, I go film my show. You know, the show I host with KNWT, where we, do something new with a guest from around campus each week. It kind of pertains to their job or activities that they do.
Yeah, sorry man, I don't get it.
I don't know, man. It's loosely related.
Hey, welcome back to Loosely Related. I'm your host, Jackson Weddle, and this week...
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. In this segment, we're going to take a deeper dive into another story from the Missourian.
Sean Baker, owner and operator of Baker & Sons, has opened a food truck selling various foods he experienced during his Air Guard deployment. After being away from his family due to his position, he operates the food truck with his wife and son.
Sean Baker planned the food truck with his son Kelton Baker, both who were deployed in the Air Guard. After a month of opening, things have gone by smoothly in terms of orders and legal documentation to open the food truck.
Sean Baker is a U.S. Air Guard pilot. Sean and Kelton Baker are members of the 139th U.S. Airlift Wing of the Missouri Air National Guard. Sean Baker said Germany was a place he'd often visit in the military. The doner kebabs the food truck serves will have a German twist, Sean Baker said. His wife, Joanna Baker, also helps run the food truck. His other sons help out every once in a while as well.
Baker & Sons specializes in doner kebabs, a food originating in Turkey consisting of meat, usually chicken, beef, or lamb. Tzatziki, a Middle Eastern sauce, is recommended as a topping. Tzatziki is made from strained yogurt with cucumber and garlic.
Sean Baker is retiring this spring after 35 years of service and to continue to run the food truck with his family. He plans to be more active during the summer and wants to expand locations around town.
For more on these stories and other coverage on campus and community news, check out nwmissourinews.com or pick up a paper from the boxes across campus.
Well, that's all the time we have for Channel 8 News. Be sure to go to the description below to rewatch certain sections of our show.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all the latest news and updates. This has been Channel 8 News. Thank you for watching.